Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you for an album review this time, and this is for another Three Doors Down Marathon Studio album review, the second to last Marathon Studio album review of Three Doors Down discography, and the next one's going to be on the 6th of April, so definitely tune in for the Us in the Night one that I'm going to do after this one a few days later. So this is for Time of My Life by Three Doors Down that I just got done. And that's the back cover of it, so with the track list on it. So I'm going to discuss what I listened to for this Time of My Life album and let you know my thoughts on it. So let's dive into this review. Sorry, I was grabbing my notebook for a second. Sorry that you had to see that. Basically, I think this album was good for what it was. It's much better than the self-titled and the 17 Days, in my opinion, because those albums were probably the weakest. Um, Time of My Life, the opening track, is pretty strong. It opens this album pretty well, so not a bad way to start an album. So 5 out of 5 for this one. I kind of enjoyed this song, even though it has some moments where it's very soft, melodic, hard rock kind of stuff. But Brad Arnold sounds pretty good in this song with his vocal range. When You're Young is the second song on the album, and that was a pretty strong one. It's very mellow, so mellow, hard rock stuff that they're doing, but it works for what it's sounding. I know most of the songs, there is a slight sound in the song how the opening track starts off, but then it leads into something different in this song and has a different kind of message it's sending to its audience and its listeners listening to this album. But When You're Young is a strong song. I personally like it. So 5 out of 5. Round and Round was an alright song. I don't know if I feel for this one that much. It's kind of one of the least favorites in my opinion. But for what it is, it's solid, at least. It kind of gets annoying when it says round and round and round and round we go. That Brad Arnold is singing in the chorus. It kind of gets a little annoying, in my opinion. But for the rest of the verses in the song, pretty strong. So that's a plus for the song. And some of the bridge is alright. So 4.5 out of 5 for Round and Round. Heaven was a pretty strong song. It's pretty short. It's like almost 3.5 minutes. Well, it is almost 3.5 minutes. I wouldn't technically say it's pretty short, but it feels like it's a short song, but it's not. Um, it's a strong track. Brad Arnold's vocal pitches in the song sound pretty good, and I really like this song. I think he's really doing a lot better with his vocals in this whole album than the last album. The last album he did alright, but yeah, it just didn't feel like he was trying hard enough. So, yeah, Heaven's getting a 5 out of 5. I kind of enjoyed this track. And Race for the Sun's the next song. Pretty strong song. I like the drum work in it, and the guitar work's pretty solid. So, yeah, this album's trying to be something different. But When You're Young does have a similarity with Here Without You and all that other songs that they've made. So their songs can sound the same a bit, but they tried a little differently with this album. So 5 out of 5 for Race for the Sun. I just wanted to mention that little nitpick of what I really thought of When You're Young, because it does have a similar sound to their previous songs before this album came out. Back to Me is a pretty strong song. There are some melodies in the song that do sound the same, like the When You're Young thing, but it works, I think. So 5 out of 5. Every Time You Go is, it runs into the chorus so fast, too much, with the verses being a little weak and the chorus just being a little basic and generic. in my opinion. So 4.5 out of 5 for this one. It's another least favorite of mine. I think it sounds alright, but it doesn't really bring a lot to the table to being a great song, if you get what I'm saying. So 4.5 out of 5 for Every Time You Go. It's one of my least favorites. What's Left is another track that I found to be alright too. So 4.5 out of 5 for that one. It's not bad how it sounds. It's a little better than Every Time You Go, but I just didn't find it to be amazing. On the Run was a pretty strong track. I really enjoyed this one. I like Brad Arnold's vocals in it. It sounds pretty solid and pretty strong. So 5 out of 5 for On the Run. I really enjoyed this track, and it's a pretty rockin' song. So next is She Is Love, and that was one of the weakest songs on the album. It just sounds too mellow, and there's some hard rock stuff to it towards the end of the track where the drums are kind of closing out the track, and so are the guitars. And Brad Arnold singing in it is pretty strong, just, I don't know, the song just didn't do it for me. So 4 out of 5 for She Is Love. And the final two songs, My Way and Believer, very strong tracks. Really enjoyed them. In my opinion, I kind of liked them. So they're the most heaviest songs on the album you're going to find, along with On the Run and Race for the Sun and all that. But 5 out of 5 for My Way and Believer. I like the lyrics to Believer. It's about someone cheating on the guy and all that, and said, now I'm back and you're gonna be bleeding, so it looks so, son, you better run, or whatever he says. But yeah, overall production, mixing, and execution, I think Time of My Life was a good album. And overall, I think, in my opinion, Time of My Life is a pretty, well, it's a good album. It's not a pretty good album, but it's close to being a pretty good album. So overall, I think this is a good album for what it is. And first score for me, I'm giving Three Doors Down's Time of My Life album an 8 out of 10. This was a good listen, in my opinion. I had a good time listening to it. And just enjoying 40 minutes of this album. It's like 41 minutes, 41 and a half minutes, so it's not very long of an album. It's a sol it's a almost a solid album, but it's still good for what it is, so 8 out of 10. Comment below. Let me know what you guys thought of the Three Doors Down album, Time of My Life, for this marathon studio album review I did. If you enjoyed it for the 5th album, and if you enjoyed this Three Doors Down Time of My Life album review I did for you guys this afternoon, comment below and let me know your thoughts on it. Tap a like on this video if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you can. Support the channel. I will have another review coming out a little later for the Batman, the 2022 movie. And then after that, I'm going to move on to... I don't think I'm interested in the After Yang movie review, because I don't think I'm going to do that. I'll probably skip it, because it just doesn't look interesting. So... yeah, I don't know. To me, it didn't look interesting enough to intrigue my attention to watching it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Sorry that I paused for a second and was trying to think of what to say. I hope you enjoyed this album review for Time of My Life by Three Doors Down. I did the best I could to make it as good as possible. Definitely stay safe, guys. Take care. And I'll see you in a little while in the Batman movie review for the 2022 Batman movie review. So I'll see you in the next video.